As one travels south along West Confederate Avenue, they retrace the positions held by a portion of General Robert E. Lee's Army in Northern Virginia for the fighting on July 2nd and 3rd, 1863. This avenue, completed in 1901, provides the visitor with a view of the northern battle line on Cemetery Ridge. Marked by cannon markers and monuments, West Confederate Avenue also exhibits state memorials representing the southern states that participated in the battle. The very first southern state to erect a state memorial at Gettysburg was Virginia. This impressive memorial would be dedicated on June 8, 1917. But who and why was the Virginia State Memorial placed where it stands today? This video will answer these basic questions. The idea of the Gettysburg Virginia Memorial was a grassroots effort. Many Confederate veterans camps, as well as chapters of the Daughters of the Confederacy, expressed that a memorial should be erected at Gettysburg to honor the soldiers of Virginia. This desire was brought to fruition on January 9, 1908. Governor Claude Swanson, during his address to the Virginia General Assembly, recommended that a suitable monument to commemorate the glory and heroism of Virginia troops be erected at Gettysburg. Both houses of the Virginia legislature would vote unanimously to provide funds for the erection of the memorial at Gettysburg, and on March 9, 1908, Governor Swanson would sign the bill into law. In 2019, I acquired an original image of a group of 9 men standing near a 12-pound Napoleon cannon. My interest in the image was the photographer noted in the corner was from Gettysburg. Also, I found the group curious as one of the men required the use of crutches and another had a top hat and a certain look of distinction. I had no idea this image would prove to be a wonderful part of Virginia as well as Gettysburg history. When I received the image, it included a brown paper back sheet, and written on this sheet was the name Frank Edmonson. I was also aware the image had come from the Halifax County, Virginia area. Wondering who Frank Edmonson was, I did some internet searching and discovered a Frank Richard Edmonson Sr. from Halifax County. Finding no image of Frank, I did discover he was the son of Major Henry Archer Edmonson and Sally Poindexter Edmonson, both now buried in Halifax, Virginia. Researching further, I found an image of Henry Edmonson and was stunned to see he appeared as the 5th man from the left of the image I had purchased. So who was this Major Henry Archer Edmonson, and why does he appear in my image? Further investigation revealed Major Edmonson had joined the Confederate Army in April of 1861 as part of Company A, 53rd Virginia Infantry. He had served in all of the major campaigns with the 53rd Virginia and was twice wounded, with one of these wounds received at Gettysburg as part of the famed July 3rd Pickett's Charge. During the July 3rd attack on the northern line, Major Edmonson would receive a wound to his chin. I would later discover that because of this wound, Edmonson would wear a goatee to hide the scars of this injury for the remainder of his life. So why was Edmonson in the group photo? I continued to investigate why Edmonson would be in an image taken by a Gettysburg photographer. Searching both the internet and my personal library, I found nothing. Discussing this issue with my wife Linda, she asked if I had anything related to the Virginia Memorial. I pulled from my library an original copy of the booklet titled Ceremonies Attending Dedication of the Virginia Memorial on the Battlefield of Gettysburg and handed it to her. As she thumbed through the booklet, she came to page 15 and asked me, "Does this help?" That page had the image of 5 men, one being Major Edmonson. The title of this page was the Virginia Gettysburg Monument Commission. As I viewed the commission page from the booklet, I quickly identified two other men in the Gettysburg image. Standing with Major Edmonson were Captain Stephen Pettis Reed and Colonel Thomas Smith. I now realized I had an image of the Virginia Gettysburg Memorial Commission. However, now I wondered who were the other men and where was the image recorded. This puzzle began to take shape. When the Virginia Gettysburg Monument Commission was formed, then Governor Claude Swanson was to act as chairman and was to appoint 4 additional members to the commission. Having identified 3 of the 4 members, I soon discovered the 4th member was Senator John Warwick Daniel. Finding photographs of Governor Swanson and Senator Daniel, I soon realized both were also in the image. This obscure image, taken by a Gettysburg photographer, had captured the 5 members of the Virginia Commission. Determining who the other unidentified men in the image and when the image was recorded was my next task. Using the website newspapers.com, I found an article in the Gettysburg Times dated Friday, April 9th, 1909. The title of the newspaper article was Virginians Visit Field. The article told of the Virginia Gettysburg Monument Commission arriving in Gettysburg by train on the afternoon of April 8, 1909. Upon their arrival, the Virginia Commission would be greeted by General Lunsford Lomax, a commissioner of the Gettysburg National Military Park, Captain James Long, known author and battlefield guide, and William Tipton, Gettysburg photographer. From the train station, the group would be assembled at the Eagle Hotel for the evening. The following day, the Virginia Commission, accompanied by the military park commissioners, would view the field looking for a desirable location for the Virginia Gettysburg Memorial. Sure enough, with this information, I was able to identify 3 more of the men in the image. Having positively identified the 5 members of the Virginia Gettysburg Memorial Commission, as well as the others present in the image, I wanted to determine who was the photographer that captured this historic event. In the lower right-hand corner of the image is written number 502, the Battlefield Photo Company, Gettysburg, PA. The Battlefield Photo Company began operation in 1909 when Mr. Charles A. Williams purchased the studio of Levi Mumper in February of 1909 that was located at 7 Stratton Street in Gettysburg. This image must have been one of the first recorded by Williams. In 1911, the Battlefield Photo Company was no longer owned by Williams, but was operated by Mr. John H. Andrews. Next, I wanted to determine where the group was standing when their image was recorded. Several hints helped me to determine the location. The most obvious was the distant ridge line behind the group. A large group of trees over the right shoulder of Governor Swanson made me think it was a historic copse of trees located on Cemetery Ridge, but I needed further proof. A tree line to the right of the group, a cannon, and pipe and post fence behind the group were important in determining the location. Reviewing a 1914 Park Commission map of the Gettysburg Battlefield, these important features could be located. The pipe and post fence the tree line known today as the Point of Woods, as well as the cannon, part of a Ward's battery, were noted. With this information, I determined the group must have been standing just east of West Confederate Avenue, near the present location of the Virginia State Memorial. Was this the Virginia Commission's April 1909 visit to the Gettysburg Battlefield? Several factors support my thought as to the time of year. Note, all of the individuals wear cold weather clothing. Also, there is no foliage in the trees near the group or on the distant ridge. One more hint is Senator Daniel would die on June 29, 1910, and would be replaced by Colonel William McCabe. These clues lead me to believe this is the April 1909 visit. Using shadows present in the image, I wondered at what time was the group image recorded. The shadows presented in the image, with the most prominent being cast by Governor Swanson, gives us a solution. Using an online sun shade calculator for April 9th, 1909, and duplicating the angle of the shadow would indicate the time the image was recorded was approximately 12:45 p.m. This idea is supported as Governor Swanson would that afternoon be interviewed by a representative of the Gettysburg Times after their battlefield tour. The Virginia Commission would meet at the Gettysburg Railroad Station and leave at 3:45 p.m. to return to Washington, D.C. The Virginia Gettysburg Memorial Committee, after some discussion with the War Department, will finally select the location of the Virginia Memorial. The Industrial School News, in the Thursday, January 13, 1910 edition, will note, the Commission has reached a conclusion that Spangler Woods, the point from which General Lee observed the famed charge upon Cemetery Ridge, is a proper site for the monument. When the Virginia Commission visited Gettysburg in April of 1909 to select a site for the Virginia Memorial, they must have had a hunch the location where their image was recorded would be the eventual site of the Virginia Memorial. I often wondered when I scanned the faces of those commission members, were they thinking that 44 years earlier, to the day, Robert E. Lee had surrendered his army at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia.